business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Atlantic Television Network. Let's Talk is a people-oriented show designed to communicate core issues centered on trends and to whom it may concern per time. Today on Let's Talk, we look at the stories. First, family responsibility. Unstable men have no right to sex, Kanayo Kanayo says. And then on to parenting. Raise daughters to be self-sufficient, Simi has to say. We are open for advert placements, bookings and commercials, and also news and events coverage, personality, society and political interviews, product, service promotion and commercials. You can connect with us on all our ATN socials, Facebook and YouTube, Atlantic Television Network, Instagram and TikTok, Atlantic TV Network 1, and on Twitter, Atlantic TV Net. Watch us live on our website, www.atlanticnetwork.tv. We'll go on a short break. When we come back, we'll delve right into the show.
From the lines across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.
Joining me on Let's Talk this evening is Omenazu Victor Stainless. Omenazu Victor is a wellness and lifestyle enthusiast, a motivational speaker, marriage counselor, and relationship coach. He's also a pianist and enjoys music. Good evening, Omenazu, and welcome to Let's Talk.
Thank you very much. It's nice to be here once again.
Nice to have you.
Yeah.
And on to the story. Nollywood actor Kanayo Kanayo has expressed his views on the responsibilities of men in relationships, stressing the importance of provision. Taken to his account on October 13, 2024, the veteran actor posted a video criticizing the trend of men depending on women for financial support, calling it useless and dangerous. He stated, "I woke up this morning and I was disturbed by a trend that I have found useless and dangerous. When a man depends on a woman to feed him, the usual thing, which is the most disturbing part, is that women want to defend their husbands so that whatever is happening inside doesn't get to the outside. Sometimes it is detrimental to the progress of the man." The actor stressed his views regarding family dynamics, stating that men have to take care of their families. He continued, "Every man has a responsibility to his family. A man who cannot take care of his family is worse than an infidel. What I am saying is that a man who cannot feed his family has no need to use his private parts on a woman. It is your responsibility, yet women try to cover their husbands." Kanai also spoke to women, urging them to consider their choices in marriage carefully, adding that constantly defending men could make them irresponsible. This is advice to women. "I know who you marry. I know all you place above is love. I love him, but provision is key. Even when he loses his job, it's always in the house and doesn't go to struggle and hustle like other men. I understand the need to defend them, but don't make them irresponsible," he explained. Let me come to you, Stainless. What do you make of this story? What do you make of this stance of Kanayo on men not being able to cater for their families?
Okay, he might be right to an extent.
Okay.
And we should also know that the topic and the concerns he has raised is contextual as well as relative. Contextual in the sense that I could hear him talking about what the Holy Bible says which is found in the book of 1 Timothy chapter 5 verse 8. He could be quoting from that. But
right.
it is possible that he may have also quoted that Bible portion out of the context for which it is written. Generally, men are supposed to provide for their family. Is agreeable, and in the African culture and setting, that is what we have inherited. That is what should be. But then we should also consider that there are various, that's why I say it is relative, there are various factors that can actually...
Go ahead.
There are various factors...
Go ahead.
There are various factors that could actually hinder a man for providing for his family.
All right.
Which he stated some of them, maybe the loss of job, it could be health condition, and it could be various other things. But then the extreme of it is when it becomes habitual. I think that's where his concern stems from. When it becomes habitual that this man have now, formed a habit where he no longer cares, he no longer hustles. Some men are that way. They will just prefer to stay at home. For I know of a young man who would prefer to stay at home. In fact, in the morning he comes up to the balcony to wave at those going to work, greet them.
Wow. Is he married?
He's married.
And the wife is working?
And the wife is working. In fact, the wife has sat, when I knew them this much, the wife was actually hustling between 2 jobs here in Nigeria. Between 2 jobs.
And the husband is staying at home doing
husband
nothing.
Just stays at home, waves at those going to work, and probably goes to pick their child from school in the afternoon. So it was the other way around. What the man was supposed to be doing.
So the wife also works and picks the children, does the school runs as well?
No. That's why I'm saying that it was now a flip kind of thing. What we would have said should be the responsibility of the woman going to do school runs, tidying up the house and all of that, the man was not doing it.
Okay, the man was not the one doing the
those
school
things.
runs,
yes, why the
and
woman,
cleaning the house.
Why the woman was not saddled with the responsibility of, working, making sure that she shuttles between 2 jobs just to provide for the home. And what happens in most cases, which I would say probably that is why Kanayo is actually having this stance, is that, when men are that lazy and idle at home, the drive for sex becomes very high.
Okay.
Yeah, naturally it's that way. The drive for sex. So you see a man who is well rested, just waiting for the woman to come back home. Meanwhile, the woman who is coming back home has worked her ass out that she's so tired. So you could actually see the friction. I am so tired because I've been busy since morning. You are so rested because you've not been busy since morning. So you could see the conflict there, that at the point when the man will be saying he needs this, the woman will say, no, I am tired because I've been busy all day. But then come to think of it, the woman was created to be a help for a man. The book of Genesis chapter 2, I think verses 18, says that the woman is God said that he will make a help meet for Adam. A help, that meet them is a help suitable for Adam.
Also spoke about the enabling factor of women who find themselves in this kind of situation with their husbands. It's one thing for a man to lose his job, and another thing for him to remain jobless. I say this because we are in a world right now where you do not necessarily to go to an office to work. You can work remotely. There are a lot of jobs you can even do via internet. You can learn skills that you could actually use even from the job. Probably, let's say my job right now, I can develop a course based on my experience. When you look in Nigeria right now, husbands and wives, they are struggling. I mean, a husband and a wife put together, they are struggling to take care of their family, to stay afloat. A lot of persons have had to cut down on certain expenses just to stay afloat. Now, leaving the burden of taking care of the family, on the doorstep of one person, in this instance, the woman, one would begin to wonder. Now, let's also even look at the psychology of a woman. Women do say what a man can do, a woman can do better. I might take exception to that because I believe in natural order. Natural order. There are things that a man can do naturally. There are things that comes to a woman naturally. Nurturing comes to a woman naturally. what the man ordinarily should be thinking. And, you know, naturally you just see a woman become passive-aggressive because she's forced to live in a system, or she's forced to adapt to a life that is not naturally created for her.
Okay.
And men, on the other hand, when that happens, will now, you know, to some extent reach out to their fellow men. You see them in bars, you see them reaching out to their fellow, you see them even cheating on that woman. And their reason will be, oh, when I was working, she was a certain way, and now she's a certain way. But I think it's time we start looking at the psychology of a woman who is forced to take the place of a man and what it does to her.
Yes, because for every action, there is a reaction. And again, also looking at it from the very fact that why would a man in the first instance be comfortable to be told come and eat, and you don't even know the source of what you're eating?
Interesting.
Why would a man be comfortable?
Are we not living in a generation where a lot of men are actually tilting towards that?
Which is very, very wrong.
You know, growing up, you know, my father said when he met my mom, I think he said in a bus, in a vehicle, as she was coming back from school, she was in her finals, and he asked her, "What is your name?" My mom told him. The next question was, "Where are you from?" My mom told him. The third question was, "What's the name of your father?" My mom told him, and he said, "Okay."
Youths of this generation, they know so much. A lot of them know so much that they don't need your advice.
Why do you say that?
Hey, because that's what it is. You know, I run a ministry where I have them there, and I interact with them on a daily basis. Singles Ministries International.
Okay.
It's an international platform, and I interact with them on a daily basis. And you could just say that some of them know so much that when you are telling them the reality in some of these things, they have a different idea, because a whole lot of things has been redefined from what we see in the social media, from what we watch on movies and all of that. They think that these are the real thing and not what one could tell them as a result of experience.
So they are not exactly open to
and again,
genuine advice.
Then again, let us also look at it from this point of view. If a man loses his job and the wife begins to fend for the family, if it is a family that is well knitted, well coordinated, I would expect a discussion along the lines of, "Honey, now that your job has stopped, what do you want to do?" The woman could actually, probably out of what she earns, or from her contacts in the place of work, getting a loan and whatever, to establish the man. But don't forget the fact that some women also like to be the ones calling the shots. That's the truth.
Now, some
women actually understand that he who blows the piper dictates the tune.
Now, let's look at it from that perspective. The woman going to take a loan to establish the man.
Yeah.
The question would be, when the man was working, was he a good husband?
Yeah.
Not that, because why would I? Okay, let me just put myself in the shoes of that woman for a moment. Why would I?
Yeah.
Go that extra mile?
Yeah, you are very correct.
Put my job on the line, put my integrity on the line, put my income on the line to get a loan, probably some handsome amount or humongous amount, depending on the kind of business he wants to start.
Depending on what
and
paycheck
knowing that I am the one to pay off that money.
Because
he can choose not to pay it. The company does not know my husband. The company will hold me responsible. And that loan, of course, will come with interest, which I will have to pay off. Why would I make that sacrifice?
Yes.
If when he was working, if when he was working, whatever it was he was earning did not trickle down to me. I was not properly taken care of. And probably I could not say categorically, this is how much my husband earned. I could not say, okay, this is what he does with his money. And probably along the line, I have seen him squander money on other women. There are a lot of variables that I will consider. If probably when he was working, he had that money, the money came home. He brought back home the bread, right? And I was well taken care of. And 90% of the times, a woman would say she's going to get a loan. Can I shock you?
Go ahead.
She's bringing her savings. It's not a loan. Well, I'm exposing women.
You're shaking the table. You're shaking the table.
Yes,
this table is standing on one leg.
But that's a fact.
Yeah.
90% of the woman will be like, look, I'm going to get a loan.
She's bringing her savings.
She's bringing probably all that she has saved to help you. And let me shock you again. 80% of the times, those savings comes from the money the husband gives her. That is why some white people will say, whatever you put into a woman, she will multiply and give back to you. So when you give her, she has excess and she saves it. For a woman who is prudent, believe you me, when the chips are down, she will work. You know why? Because no woman who is well loved, taken care of, would want to be the person dictating the tune. Because it feels good to be loved. It feels good to be spoiled. It feels good that I don't have to spend my money.
Let me put it the way one of my friends put it. It feels good to be pampered.
Exactly. So now tell me why, if my husband did all that and suddenly
you bounce back. In fact, at the moment he even notices that something is going wrong in the office and I may be dropped, they have started planning on what to do.
Exactly.
You also find out that, no, honey, you cannot stay at home. I mean, while the man is working, he could actually say, honey, you can't continue to stay at home. What do you want to do? There is a family investment, family business, where the man also has an eye on to say, no, don't do this one this way. Do it this way so that your money, you know.
Some men end up joining it. If their wives have a driving business, they end up joining the
business. Unfortunately, at times we find a situation where the man is on his own, the woman is on her own.
So why should she help?
Helping becomes very difficult. We also find a situation whereby the woman is trying to close up the gap and the man is steadily running away.
What do you do in that situation?
With all the excuses why he will not come back home, why he will travel even when there was no need to travel, where he spends his money, all the excuses and all that. In such situations, it becomes very, very difficult. When the table turns, the woman feels that it is a time
for retribution,
to pay you back on what you have done to me all this way. It is time to give you back what you've been giving to me. And you see the man now complaining, calling names. And unfortunately, the greatest enemy of women are women.
Okay, why do you say that?
I want to repeat that. The greatest enemy of women are women.
Why do you say that?
Why I say that is this. Most times, where women would have rallied round to support their fellow women and condemn some of the ills being done by some husbands, you see them taking sides. So you see subtle words like, now your husband is your husband. Are you going to throw him away? Forgive him. And all the talk is on the woman, what she's expected to do to keep her home, to make her home more loving, to make her home more conducive. But nobody's speaking to the husband. Probably
doesn't that, to a large extent, isn't that a pointer or an indictment to the parenting that we had and how even
from that parenting angle, if both parents were alive, you see the mother-in-law.
I'm coming. What I'm saying is, growing up, women were taught, in fact, from birth, a woman is being prepared for the man.
For marriage, yes.
Not even for marriage. She's being prepared for the man.
Yes.
When your parents are rebuking you, they rebuke you in the line of marriage. So this is how you go to your husband's house and disgrace me.
Yes.
Your husband will now say, I did not train you well. Another form of rebuke. You see this thing you're doing, when your husband will send you back home, God in heaven knows that you cannot come to my house, I will send you back.
Exactly.
There are everything, your mindset is tailored towards marriage. And that hence the pressure for a woman to get married the moment she's done with school. And again, a woman is meant to understand that your marriage fails, you fail. A woman's success in life is not measured by what she's able to attain, but the patriarchal society we find ourselves, the success of a woman is measured by her ability to get married. Her ability to remain in that marriage for better, for worse. Yeah. Her ability to die in that marriage, even when, you know, that's it. So now, because this is the way, this is what we know. This is what we have been trained to believe. You go to church, that's what you hear. You know, your mother-in-law, that's what you hear. In-laws, that's what they tell you. Your parents, that's what they tell you. When you have fracas or issues, irreconcilable differences, you are brought before probably the elders of both families. Guess what happens? Even when the man is at fault and the woman has no hand in his character, guess what will happen? You're an elder, you know what they do? They will blame the woman for the man's mistakes that she's not in any way catalyst to. They will blame her totally, condemn her totally, demoralize her, finish her.
Yeah. So you can understand why I made that comment, that even when such issues
is it that women are enemies of women, or the society is the enemy of a woman?
It is more of the women.
Are women not products of the society?
They are.
Is it not what the society put into them that they are giving out?
Well, you can say that. You can say that.
Go ahead.
But then you ordinarily, for me, I would prefer a situation whereby, even if you don't want to point out the man's mistakes before the wife, probably you want him to still maintain his ego as a man and all of that. But the man should be called to order to say, look, things are not done this way.
In front of the wife?
Even if you don't want to do that in front of the wife.
Why won't you do it in front of the wife?
That's I say, even if that's the clause.
The clause is the problem.
Good. But then,
do you agree with me that? No,
I agree with you.
Do you agree with me that clause
is the problem?
Even if is the problem. Because the fact is that when you point out to the man in front of the wife, because in this instance they are one. When you are able to tell the man in front of the wife, you have maltreated your wife in this way. In this way, you have not done well. Do you understand? Done well. However, Amaria or Mama, whoever, we would implore you to let it go. You understand? Now, the healing starts from there.
Faster.
Because
reconciliation is faster.
It's faster.
The man also adjusts it better, knowing that no one is supporting his wrongs.
Yes, that's on one hand. Forgive and let go. But in a situation where she's bleeding and then she's still called before a tribunal, and then they hang her for something she's innocent of. Now, you see why women internalize a lot of things over the years and then wait for when the man is down.
They are in counseling. There are various approaches to some of this issue.
All right.
Do not forget the fact that we are Africans.
Okay.
And that being Africans, it is a fact that a lot of things that happened in the past, so we have metamorphosed to something much, much better in our own era now. From the Stone Age, our great-grandfathers and all of that, what we have always seen being practiced in Africa is the master-servant kind of relationship.
Marriage.
In marriage. Okay. Yes. The man is the master. The wife and everyone and the children are servants. But in our own days, changes are actually catching up with
Friendship
us.
Is coming into marriage.
Where we can understand that, look, this thing ought not to be what it used to be in the past and all of that. Now, the saying and the challenge a particular family may be having determines how you handle it. There are some issues you will handle as a counselor. Openly telling each partner, look, you did wrong, may not give you the resolution you are looking out for. You may not even, you may decide to, okay, I will talk, I have heard both of you talk, and I want to speak further to you both privately. After you must have talked to them privately, you bring them together again. Privately, everybody must have understood what you want him or her to hear. You just want to tell the man openly and before the wife and before everybody seated that you would have done this way, you would have done this way. It will escalate the problem the more. That's the truth.
Because of the ego. Because
of the ego, which you cannot take away. It's natural. It takes one who is exposed. It takes one who is godly. It takes one who is loving to at times say, no, you are right. I didn't behave well. I am sorry. I will do it better some other time. Don't also forget the fact that some person's temperament may also be an issue.
Okay.
Such that you should be able to know when to meet them, and the bottom line, the target at the end of the day is results, getting a positive result.
Okay.
So whichever way you go about it to get that positive result may not really matter. What matters at the end is that this positive result, you know, you have it at the end of the day.
All right.
Yeah, I said I had a very long meeting, a very long talk, still on conflict resolution in a home. And we are just weighing everybody's, the part, the role everybody has played in it and all of that. And we know who is at fault. And we tell the person who is at fault at the end of the day, look, you're at fault. You wouldn't have done it this way. Yeah, you, even if your husband has behaved this way, but you, for doing this, you went to the extreme, you know? Because most times it appears as if the person receiving the hit is the one who is innocent, but it's not really so. It's not really so. Some persons who even receive hit at a particular point in time, it might be something that they have tolerated so much, and it has reached them here and they can't bear it anymore. So when the outburst begins, what people see is the outburst now. Nobody knows what has happened, the root of the outburst. Right. Nobody is ready to look at that. What they want to look at now is, this is what you're doing. That's why I said that there is always an action before you see a reaction. Right. It may take a very long time before the reaction comes.
So in essence, as we round up this particular topic, in essence, women should stop enabling their husbands. Yes, women should stop enabling their husbands. When they stop enabling their husbands, they are giving bad names.
In fact, let me just...
For not being understanding.
Let me just point out something that may surprise you. Right, in it is that men don't come all of a sudden and they want the women to take care of bills. They do it subtly. If your husband tells you, for those who will be listening to me this moment, if your husband tells you, there is no money for food today, I don't have money, and he comes back home and there is food, and he does not ask you how that food came about, sorry, he will do it again and again and again. You have created an impression that if he tells you there is no money, that you will provide food. So he will do it again and again and again. If the man tells you there is nobody for children's school fees and the children are still schooling and going to school, he believes that you have money somewhere.
So you should keep bringing it out.
You keep bringing it out. So at times, some of these things could actually be done intentionally.
Okay.
Intentionally. So what I advise at this point is that it is not enough to say there is no money for food. The next line of discussion should be, so what are we going to do? It's a family. If the man says there's no money for food, I agree with you, honey, there's no money for food. What are we going to do? He should be plan of whatever thing you want to do to provide that food. He should be part of that plan. If you are going to borrow, if you are going to get things on credit, he should know where you are getting it. He should know how much credit you are getting on behalf of the family and all of that. Let it not be a blanket thing. There is no...
And he should also take part in making the payment.
Of course, he should.
All right, so the credit should be instituted by him. And he should be the one to tell the woman, okay, tell so-and-so that by so-and-so time, she should expect payment.
Depending on the environment and whom you are going to. Some women are better in meeting their fellow women to say, I need this.
But when you say he should be, yes, but I'm saying the man should be able to tell the wife, give her clarity on.
Yes, on
what. Tell her I will pay so and so time.
Exactly. So the woman and tell her that you are okay. Get things of this value, 10,000 naira worth of 10, 20,000 naira worth of 10. Okay. From this time to this time, we should be able to clear that.
All right.
So it shouldn't be a
blank. You should take responsibility even when there is nothing on ground.
Exactly.
All right. Popular Nigerian songstress Simi has advised parents on how to train the girl child. The singer, in a video on her Instagram page, advised parents to teach the female child to take control of their financial future and not be dependent, while frowning at the notion of some parents praying for a wealthy man to marry their daughters. Simi urged parents to nurture the girl child, not to be dependent on men. She said, parents, raise your daughters to be self-sufficient and not to think that when they grow up, all they have to do is to rely on someone to take care of them. There is security in being independent. A woman's economic power is in fending for herself and being able to confidently acknowledge that she's a complete person. Let them know that you are standing strong, she said. Now, you are a father. What do you have to say about these parenting tips that Simi has to give out?
They are all true.
Okay.
Very, very correct. But the problem is not in training your children, your girl child, to be independent and to be able to fend for herself, to have that financial security. That is not where the problem is. Where the problem is, from my experience, is this. Whom is that girl child getting married to? Which is part of the first thing we have discussed. Whom is that girl child getting married to? Because we have seen girls, ladies who went to school, university, came out with good grades and all of that, and they marry one man out there who tells them, my wife will not work. Who tells them, my wife will not do any business. Who tells them, how much will you have? The woman should no longer be herself, no, or the man should no longer be himself, no. So allowing your partner, especially for the men, to be herself is very, very significant, because it is not just enough to get to train, but it is important to allow that person that has been trained to live up her potential. Look at it from this perspective. Oh, a girl child tells you that I want to be a medical doctor, and I just have that, flair for saving, making sure they are fine and all of that, and she goes to the school, gets admission into the medical school, does her course for 6, 7, 8, 9 years, as the case may be in Nigeria's school setting, goes for youth service, graduates, and comes back. And one man wants to keep her at home. So it is not the problem of the parents now, but rather it is a problem of the choice she has made. Because I've also seen men who will say, don't worry, anything they say at that inception when the love is still very, very hot and all of that, the young man agrees. Yes, she will work. Yes, she will do this. But when the chips are down, will it be so?
Now, let's start it from this other perspective. Probably, now, very salient point. Probably we should be looking at not just training the girl child to be financially independent, but also emotionally strong, and also have the capacity or ability to set her emotions aside and think with her head.
Yes, and not just that alone. I have a lecture I teach that talks about grooming the male child. If the male child is well groomed, some of the factors that are responsible for keeping their partners at home will be taken care of.
You cannot take away the ego of some men who are not comfortable with their wives earning more than them.
Fear. So if the male child is well groomed, that fear will not be there. Instead of you being afraid that your wife is earning more than you, you will see it as complementing whatever thing you are bringing. Because you know yourself and you are well groomed. Fear comes as a result of inferiority complex. That's what brings in that fear. You want to have control. You want to be the one controlling. But it doesn't work that way. It doesn't really work that way. So if you are well groomed and you understand the dynamics of home building, the dynamics of having a wife and raising children and all of that, that your wife is earning more than you, you should be singing hallelujah, glory be to God. You still strive to keep up your own and do your own, support her also to earn more. And you just see that the family will be moving seamlessly. In fact, in such situations, when it is properly done, nobody knows who is bringing the money. What they know is that this family is well to do. I have seen a woman who buys cars and she comes to tell people, my husband has bought me a new car for my birthday. But if you check closely, the money for that car had come from probably their family savings, which she contributes more than what the husband brings. But because there is no idea of, it is not an I game, but it is a game of we, it becomes very, very easy. People will not even notice who is paying whatever. In fact, I know if a woman who wouldn't want to spend any time without, going back to the husband to say, there is this thing, how much are we supposed to spend? She is not doing it because she's afraid of what the man will do to her, but she's doing it because that is how the family unit ought to operate. And when we are able to get this right, and when we are able to do this, we find out that we have less problem in the society.
Now, you spoke about courtship. You said there are situations where, the girl child is properly trained, properly groomed. She comes out, becomes independent, you know, financially strong and has economic power and all that, and then gets into a relationship, and you faulted it from the courtship stage where necessary questions are not asked.
Yes.
However, there are also situations where the man tells the woman what she wants to hear. Because some men, you can't take it away from them, they are also very, very smart. And they want you, and they know that when a man meets an independent-minded woman, he knows. When a man meets a woman that has strong will and strong character, he knows. And generally, this is my personal belief, that men are hunters. So when a man sees you and likes you, the next thing he's going to think is, what is it going to cost me to have this woman? For some women, probably who to a large extent are exposed, are enlightened, they have come into a stage of self-awareness. They are not just walkovers per se. So the man has to do his job, has to do his assignments. And this woman will ask piercing questions. You will now see, the man knows at that point in time that, okay, this woman likes her money. So let me just get her to love me first. Then I will walk around it. And guess what? It works most of the times because women are emotional beings. So when a woman falls in love and loves you with everything she has, she's willing to give up the world for you.
Yeah.
It's that you wonder, where go?
No,
where,
not
where,
just
where,
about that.
how
See,
far were you?
the truth is that a greater percentage of smart women get into marriages that hurt them so much.
Now, still boils down to the question. How does a woman separate herself from her emotions when she's already emotionally invested? Knowing that one of the hardest people
to advise
is a woman who is in love. Because she technically sees nothing wrong with that man. And what she sees possibilities. Yes. And when a woman genuinely loves somebody,
and excuses.
And she will make excuses for that. I was coming there. When a woman loves a woman genuinely, she will see the red flags.
Yeah.
She will make excuses for that man. She will now hope against hope that he would change. And in some situations, she starts blaming herself. Probably my shine is too much. I'm shining so loud, so brightly, I'm blinding him. In some situations, you see the woman begin to tone down on her success, begin to tone down on her ambition, begin to tone down on her plans to accommodate a man. I wouldn't want to categorize anything. But go ahead.
It's truly a difficult thing. It's truly a difficult thing, I must tell you. But one of the ways to take care of it before the emotion begins to becloud your sense of reasoning is have your set goals, 1. 2, also have somebody whom you can trust to an extent, somebody whose judgment you can trust.
A woman in love.
No. Before you fall in love, let it be that it could be your brother, it could be an uncle, it could be a friend anywhere, but somebody whose judgment you can trust, somebody who can truly say, babe, no, this one I don't think it is like this. I don't think it is like this. It becomes easier for you to slow down and weigh your options if the person whom you believe in and trust is actually showing you those red flags. But truly, like I said earlier on, it is difficult. Because a woman in love,
that's what I'm looking at and I'm smiling.
I don't use to use a particular word since it is a broadcast. A woman in love could actually be foolish. Sorry for using that label, but that's what it is. A woman in love can actually be stupid. That's the truth. But if you have some parameters set in motion, knowing that one day this will happen, it becomes a little bit easier to manage and curb. But where there are no such things, then it is like an expressway. Okay. And you know one thing, when stories are being retold, people can actually leverage on what they hear to also come and try. And because I already know your weak points, I will come with another style to make it look as if I am better than. And that is why you see repeated experiences. You see repeated experiences.
And that would now be, if it's repeated experiences, I mean, one would expect that you can smell the red flag from 10 miles away. because I mean, this is something I've experienced once, I've experienced twice. So when it is about to happen, or when something similar to that is coming around me, I should be able to tell that this is what it is. It's just like having been in a relationship with a narcissistic person. When you see narcissism, whether it's covert or what, you can recognize it
from a distance.
Exactly, from
and
a
distance. That is when people begin to act difficult, such that even when they are truly loved and cared for, they have been hurt once. So they are very, very careful. So it's a difficult thing, I must confess.
All right. Now, why don't we look at it from this perspective? Because now we are looking at solutions.
Yeah.
Because one of the things is it's not just pointing out the issues, but also look at possible solutions.
Yeah.
So now, as a woman, a mature woman that I am, I would expect that if probably a woman that is successful has her own economic power, there are certain, first of all, a woman should come into self-awareness.
Yeah.
Understanding herself, like getting to like, this is who I am. This is what I can take. This is what is a it's a no-no.
Set your boundaries.
The boundaries are there from get-go. I think it's easier to be known as a strict no-nonsense person, and that already takes care or sieves away a lot of nonsense that will come around you. And you know,
that's where the discipline I talked about comes in.
Yes. Now, and not just that, also setting setting boundaries, you know, coming into self-awareness to even find out and discover who you are. And then a woman, I feel women, first of all, should fall in love with themselves. I'm telling you, a woman needs to, because when you fall in love with yourself, you do not need validation from anybody. Then that's a fact.
As long as that won't make you look selfish, self-centered.
No, I think if that is called selfish, I would not call it selfish. I'll call it self-preservation. I call it self-preservation.
What we mean by that is that as much as you're falling in love with yourself, wouldn't make it to be me first in everything.
No, hold on. Falling in love with yourself means that it helps you come into emotional maturity. And it
helps you value yourself.
It helps you keep yourself on a level and on a pedestal that genuinely nonsense can't come close to you easily. Believe you me, because I mean, I don't have that time to waste when you don't align with my goals, when you don't align with my vision. I do not need your validation. If you're coming around me, you're coming around me to complete me, compliment me. It is when a woman doesn't love herself that she seeks completion in people. But when she loves herself, she can actually, even when she's lonely, she can stay alone. She can actually be in herself, spoil herself, take herself out, you know, pamper herself.
Exactly.
Now, when I pamper myself and I spend so much money on my skin, I spend so much money taking care of myself, why would I allow a man to come and lay hands on me? And yes, because I'm disfigured this money, this skin that I'm pushing.
Money on.
The skin is expensive.
But at times you don't need to allow it. That it just happens.
No, I am trying to tell you, when you value yourself, even if probably it never happened, the signs were not there. That once is enough.
Yes.
No matter how much I love you, once is enough. Because when a woman loves herself, it is easier for her to know that this will compromise who I am, and it's easier for her to pull away on time. Self-love saves you from falling into the wrong hands, because women fall into the wrong hands because they seek validation. You know, they seek completeness, and you know, and when you seek that, anybody that tells you I love you, you run into that person. Anybody that dangles the marriage carrot, because you are validated by that, you run. But when you genuinely love yourself, you will set standard on what you want, and you develop yourself to match that standard, and to a large extent, it works. And that's why sometimes you see some women wait till they are 40s, 50s to marry that man that they want. But as we round up the show, what do you have to say? Final advice to women and men out there.
Just be yourself. Women, be yourself. Pursue your goals, your dreams, your careers. Don't let anybody take your shine away in the name of marriage. Don't let anyone take your shine away in the name of marriage.
That's interesting coming from you, man. Okay.
Yeah.
That's very
I'm saying that because
you.
I am a practical example of what I say.
Okay.
My wife has her dreams, and I'm letting her live her dreams.
Okay.
I have said that before on this station. I'm letting her live her dreams.
Let me appreciate you on her behalf, by the way. Thank you very much for that.
Then again, another thing also is, as much as you want to be yourself and you're not letting somebody take away your shine, also behave in a way that will not bring a kind of reaction that you're not expecting.
You mean arrogantly?
Call it arrogance, call it whatever, call it headiness and selfishness.
Well, that's a different thing from loving yourself.
Selfishness and all of that.
That is entirely, that's a character flaw. That's entirely different.
Selfishness and all of
that.
That's
entirely different from a woman loving herself. You know, when a woman loves herself and she's, you know, like on that cruise, some men might interpret it as arrogance. It's not.
No, it depends.
It's not. It's certain boundaries.
Sorry, it depends. It depends.
It depends on what.
We may not have time to talk about. It depends on what. on several factors actually can be misconstrued or seen as arrogance, but for the lady,
the right man. That's why I said.
For the lady, she's seeing it as loving herself.
That's why I said.
For instance, let me.
It naturally takes away a lot of things. The man that will love you and understand you.
Let me come.
All right.
A woman, we've seen women who love themselves so much that they make their nails and they're looking so beautiful, and because of how beautiful the nails are, they can't serve their husband food from the kitchen.
That is not loving yourself.
Somebody has to do it.
No, that is not loving yourself.
Okay.
Actually,
we've also
that's a different interpretation.
Okay, so
that is being self-absorbed.
Okay.
And that is
okay.
It's not self-love.
Good.
Because if you love yourself and you're married, part of loving yourself is loving your husband.
Good.
Because if your husband is happy,
you are happy.
You are happy and you have a happy home.
Exactly.
And you have happy children.
Exactly.
So that's
why I said that it must not be done selfishly. Remember I said that when you talked about loving yourself, it must be well understood and not done selfishly.
All right.
Yes, I have also seen a woman who loves herself and loves her look so much so that she doesn't want to breastfeed. What do you have to say about this? Practical.
No, these are different things. No, I'm being honest. They are different.
No.
They are different.
I am telling you what some women out there understand as self-love and what they want to do for themselves. And that's why I'm mentioning it here.
Being self-absorbed is different
from self-love.
From loving yourself.
So I would say that loving yourself means entirely having value for yourself.
Exactly.
Having value for yourself.
You cannot love you can. It's different from having value for yourself.
Knowing your value as an individual.
It's entirely different from placing yourself above the need of your child
and your husband.
Let's not even get the husband.
It's part of it.
No, loving yourself is an entirely different thing, because if you love, the truth is, if I love myself, I can tell you, and it naturally spills over to my child because she gets the best of me.
Good.
You understand?
Good.
She gets the best.
So before it spills to your child, it means that your husband would have had enough.
I feel
your
that
your husband should have also had enough before it spills to the child.
I cannot speak of that because I'm a single mother, so I can speak of my child.
Okay.
So I love myself and it spills over naturally to her. Okay. And she has learned over time to love herself like I do.
Okay.
She has learned self-preservation from me. Okay. She has learned a lot of virtues that I believe will shape her into the woman that I really, really want her to be. You know, and also I allow her make her decisions.
From the lines,
so she makes her decisions.
Across the ocean, from the lines, across the ocean, to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all the sport news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economic, sports, and documentaries. So catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATN.